Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and good evening, distinguished members of the Seattle City Council. My name is Maureen Anderson, and I live in the North Queen Anne neighborhood. Precisely, I live in the 1900 block of Taylor Avenue. It's between Howe and Newton. And I am here today to address 3 traffic hazards in my neighborhood. And I believe that if these issues are left unaddressed, they will result in very serious consequences. The first and second problems or issues relate to the egress from Howe and Newton onto 5th North, which is the arterial north-south street. The first problem, as I see it, I'm not a city engineer, but this is what I see. The egress from Howe onto 5th North is hazardous because there is a severe curve in the street at Garfield, which is 1 block south and 5th North. And the curve continues, and as a result, the visibility of the driver merging onto the arterial is significantly reduced. Now, the speed limit on that curve is 20 miles per hour. Unfortunately, very few drivers obey the speed limit. And quite frankly, I don't know whether they see the sign because to me, it's not very obvious. And I believe that the problem is exacerbated during the rush hour between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. and then between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. And earlier this summer, the bus stop at Howe Street was taken away, was removed. And this has made the problem worse because when the bus came up every 15 minutes or so, the cars had to slow down when the bus was yielding to let passengers off. Last week, my neighbor was turning south onto Howe, or turning south from Howe onto 5th North. And she was hit by a car that was traveling north on 5th. Fortunately, no one was hurt. However, both cars did sustain considerable damage. Now, the egress from Newton onto 5th is not as bad, but it also poses a potential hazard. Cars and trucks parking on the east side of 5th North park in front of the crosswalk, and they block the view of any driver who is attempting to turn north or south onto the arterial. This problem is ongoing. It's Monday through Friday and the weekends. And not only is this a potential hazard, it is a violation of the revised Code of Washington. To be precise, RCW 46.61.570, which prohibits parking within 20 feet of crosswalk or intersection. And the third hazard is a lack of a designated crosswalk at Howe and Newton. This is a problem. It's not only due to the speed by which the traffic is moving along 5th North, but there are also a number of pedestrians who cross 5th North to catch the southbound bus, which is on the west side of 5th North at Newton. A number of these people are senior citizens who live in the apartments and the houses on the east side of the street. Some of them have difficulty walking, not to mention moving out of the way of oncoming traffic. And sometimes they don't hear well, and so they're not able to hear the cars or trucks or buses. And some people are disabled. A couple weeks ago, a car traveling above the posted speed limit came very close to hitting a woman in what should have been the crosswalk. Fortunately, the car had good brakes and was able to stop. Now, I would like you, City Council members, to consider my potential solution to these problems. I think in order to alleviate the risk that drivers are facing when turning from Howe onto 5th North, I would like you to consider installing a 4-way stoplight on 5th North. I know that right now the city is faced with a budget crunch, so if this is not feasible, I do have an alternative. I believe the area should be patrolled and that drivers who are violating the 20-mile-per-hour speed limit should be ticketed. Secondly, all cars and trucks that are parked within 20 feet of the crosswalk on Newton should be ticketed and fined $44, which is the amount for parking within 20 feet of the crosswalk. And I would like to see the city designate a crosswalk, actually paint the lines between the east and west sides of Newton and Howe, and install a sign indicating that it is a crosswalk. I do hope that you will consider my suggestions for making my neighborhood a safer place for pedestrians, bike riders, and motorists. Thank you very much for your time. I will be very glad to answer any questions you might have, and I will be very happy to listen to any alternative suggestions that you might have. Thank you. Enjoy.